Next up, we have Senate 17th District, John Laird. Senator Laird will be the only candidate to speak today. Whenever you're ready, you can go ahead.
Thank you. This is very quick. So let me just say I'm happy to be here. I wish my opponent was here. I have a district that's changing by 300,000 people. San Benito's added. I've worked with San Benito in many different ways over the years, whether it's courthouse funding or Pinnacles or Hoviness or other things, and I look forward to addressing the issues that we need to address.
Thank you. This is a community question provided by the community. Please explain what you will do to improve the situation for Hollister residents with an estimated 50% who commute to Silicon Valley, and you'll have a minute for that answer.
I think it's really about transportation funding, and it's focusing on the roads in and out and making sure that those projects are prioritized and that there's actually adequate transportation to avenues to go. I know that there's some in process. I know there's some that are on the list and are lower down, and we just have to work on them. And over time, it'd be nice to develop the economy here in a way that people are not feeling the need to have such a high percentage commute out of the area.
Thank you. Our local hospital has experienced financial difficulties and its future is unclear. A sale to a private entity is being considered. Should a county of this size allow its only hospital to be privately owned? Could you weigh in on this?
I think it's interesting. I was sitting in my chair looking at the governor's action on the last bills, and he vetoed the bill that I supported that would have allowed for more say in terms of determining hospital sales and mergers. And the real issue, I worked really hard 2 years ago to save Watsonville Hospital. I did a bill with Robert at my side in 19 days. The district was 5 days old when the bankruptcy court accepted its bid. We raised over $60 million in 6 months for that hospital to be in public hands, and there were all these underlying things. It was moving to public. The public was unified in the community. The interest groups in the hospital, the nurses, the doctors, everyone was unified. It was done completely in public. It was transparent, and there was a plan. And I think that is a real teachable moment for what needs to happen here, because all those things, and they passed a bond as a result in March with 68% of the vote, because the community had been included. It was clear what the plan was. It was clear they could save it, and they rallied. And I think there are lessons for Hazel Hawkins out of that experience.
A community question. California's environmental goals can influence the rest of the country, but they sometimes create tensions with local development needs. How do you see the balance between local land use measures like Measure A and the state's priorities around climate change, conservation, and affordable housing?
Well, it's obviously a challenge because the state is occasionally asking local governments to do contradictory things without fully paying for them. And it's clear we're 3 million housing units short across the state, but we have to have the water, we have to have the roads, we have to have the schools, we have to have the state participating in all that for that to happen. And I know I was Secretary of Natural Resources for 8 years under Jerry Brown, and we instituted, and I was one of the premier architects, a sustainable agriculture land program so that the state would put large amounts of money in agricultural conservation easements to make sure we protected ag land in conjunction with developing housing and roads that we have to do. And there's certain places where you try to protect the prime agricultural land around a community, and that's important to do independently of all these other processes.
So we're at our your closing statement. we had you slotted for 30 seconds, but I'm going to just bend the rules a little bit. I know you've come a long way. We'll give you a minute and a half to just give a closing statement on anything you'd like.
Thank you. I've been working. The election happens in November. I would love your support. The district changes formally in December. I don't represent San Benito yet, but thousands of people think I do. So I have been hearing from many people, and my staff has been engaged in Hazel Hawkins for the last year, and I want to be a real partner in that. Robert has tutored me on the transportation issues. I want to work closely on that. I have toured the high school here. I chair the education budget subcommittee. We have an education bond measure on the state ballot, which, if passed, and I hope you all vote for it, would more than match the local money to bring state money in for the school here. And we have a climate bond on the ballot that would bring a considerable amount of support. It deals with fire and water, but it also deals with wildlife crossings in the corridor that runs up to San Andreas that actually covers San Benito, a little bit of Monterey, and San Luis Obispo County, and it is a unique provision in that. So I really look forward. And I have already discovered I don't have to ask you to stay in touch. You are in touch about every major issue, so I really look forward to working together. Appreciate the chance today. Look forward to your
All right. Thank you very much.